But let us please see some action. A man who likes a bit of action is Lee Anderson, Conservative MP for Ashfield, good friend of this show. Lee, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Michael. It's good to be back on.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Another big day for the Tories. I mean, I think you can probably say that Rishi Sunak has kind of rescued the party from the brink. It was literally teetering on the edge of the volcano. I think he's pulled it back. But we want to see some action, Lee, I think.
I hope so, Mark. I think we've got a chance now to see, hopefully, the real Rishi. Obviously, I didn't back him to the leadership election, but, you know, let's cut him some slack. He is the leader. We seem to be united again. Things are a lot happier in that place behind me. People are positive. And like you just said before, Mike, we need to get back to basics in this country, secure our borders, make sure our streets are safe, make sure people can afford their mortgages, make sure people can feel safe in their own homes. And like I say, we've got to give Rishi a chance. I think it is last chance saloon. The thing that scares me more than anything is the prospect of a Labour government. Look, I sit in there every single day and I see the opposition benches. I see what the public can't see, and believe me, if they could see and hear what I see in that chamber, they would be scared to death.
Well, I was talking to Susan Hall from London Assembly this morning, and we were marvelling at the interview conducted by Keir Starmer about all women's shortlists and about whether he would put Eddie Izzard on one. He couldn't answer the question. He wouldn't answer the question. He refused to talk about individual cases. But the answer is pretty obvious, isn't it? You wouldn't do it.
Well, I don't know where Labour stand with this all-women's shortlist, Mark. I thought they'd scrapped it. I think they've got 51% of their MPs now in Parliament are females. Now, if Eddie Izzard gets elected, I don't know whether that increases or decreases the percentage, because, I mean, I'm not sure what he's all about. Keir Starmer is not sure what he's all about. You know what? The old traditional working-class Labour voters will take a look at Eddie Izzard and think, well, you know, really? Is that what's coming to Parliament? I think it just opens a whole new debate, mate. And I'm going to be honest now, controversial, as always. If he does get elected and I'm still here, I shouldn't be following him into the toilets.
Well, exactly right. I mean, the bottom line is, right, that if you've got a policy that people can understand, you might get elected. But if you've got a policy that nobody can understand, you're never going to win anything.
Well, they've got to have policies full stop, Mike. They haven't got any policies. The reason we're so far behind at the moment is, previous to Rishi coming in, is there was an infight in the Tory party. Let's be honest about it. We've had two leadership elections. A lot has happened, but now we've got to get behind the Prime Minister, give him a chance. Like I say, let's see if we can seal the real Rishi. Let's see if he's a man of action. I hope he is. He says all the right things. He's been saying the right things. It certainly feels a lot better in that place over there, and let's give him that 6 months to a year to try and turn things around. Look, I think the markets are stabilising already. People are feeling a little bit more secure. He's going to be here. It's going to be 2 years before a general election. We've got to give him a chance.
Yeah. And what about the return of some of the big beasts from the previous sort of Boris Johnson cabinet? You know, there's already some controversy about Suella Braverman coming back. We've got Michael Gove back in there. Oliver Dowden's back in there. You know, it's a sort of back to the future look, isn't it?
Well, you can't beat a bit of Gove, I always say that. He's great at the dispatch box. He's probably one of the most talented politicians and best speakers we have. You know, when he gets up and speaks in the chamber, people tend to listen. And I've been hearing this Suella stuff over the past 24 hours. Look, the only people that's a bit agitated, would I say, Mike, over what's happened over the past week with Suella is some parts of the, as I'll describe them, the gutter media, the BBC, The Guardian, some of the lefties and Labour Party. Nobody else is talking about it. Nobody else gives a chuff, really.
No. I mean, I'm told there might be an urgent question coming this afternoon from Labour, because they're obviously trying to say that by virtue of putting her back in, that somehow Rishi Sunak's integrity...
Let me just interject there, mate. Yeah.
Go on.
Let me interrupt there. Look, this is a Labour Party. They keep coming in with these silly urgent questions. This is the same Labour Party. Let's be honest, they're moaning about our Home Secretary. This is the same Labour Party that wanted Diane Abbott to be the Home Secretary of this country. This is somebody who couldn't even tell you what a policeman earned. Yeah.
Well, she couldn't even tell the time at one point, but that's another story. Let me ask you about the crime wave in this country, because we do have a problem. We've got, you know, you and I share the view that we should be cracking down on illegal migration on the south coast of this country, but also we need to be cracking down on what is now an increasingly lawless Britain, where we've got people being shot dead in Ilford in Essex because of a gang fight, guys running around in Joker masks. We've got an incredible piece of footage this morning from the A55 up in North Wales, where a drug gang are chasing a guy in a van. They literally, you know, go in and out. It's like something out of Miami Vice. They're in and out of traffic. They're stopping cars. Eventually, they get out of the cars. They're fighting on the street. I mean, there's not a police officer in sight.
It's like the Wild West in some parts. I think. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for the police, Mark. I do work very closely with our local police force back in Ashfield and Nottinghamshire in general. But look, I think there's a culture now. I think this policing by consent, it doesn't always work. We've got to get tougher. We've got to get, you know, back in the day, this wouldn't have happened. You know, the police were out there. They were going about their business. They didn't need a degree to be a police officer. They didn't need to be, you know, a friend to all people and be doing like I said before, doing the Macarena, being nice, dancing in the streets. It's about time we had some good old-fashioned coppering back on the streets and send the fear of God into some of these thugs.
Yeah, because when you talk to your constituents, Lee, back in Ashfield, what do they say to you are the most important things that they want fixing? Because whenever we talk to our constituents here at Talk TV, it's migration, it's crime, it's law and order, and it's the cost of living.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Mark, with all four. Look, people want to feel safe on the streets. Nobody in this country should feel unsafe going out to the shops or going about the business. I'm a landlocked constituency in Ashfield, very landlocked, but the small boats, the immigration, comes up every single day. We've seen at the weekend, I think 50 of these so-called asylum seekers, as soon as they dropped on the beach, they run off. They scarper. They're not genuine asylum seekers if they get here and scarper and they're dashing into people's houses trying to use a phone. I wish we get tougher, Mark. I've been on this show 9 times now about the illegals. I mean, if I was Home Secretary for a day, you know what I'd do? I'd send them straight back.
Yeah, maybe you can get yourself in there as a minister. That's what I would support, certainly. And, you know, we'd all be behind you, Lee. I'll start the campaign now. Thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the day. Lee Anderson, Conservative MP for Ashfield. A lot of people saying, why didn't he run for Prime Minister? He's very tough. Well, he is. He's tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime. You might remember that phrase from the Tony Blair era. But we really need to see some action now, don't we? Let's hear from some of you.